Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Drux Milan Unboxing. For the hardcore boxing fans that are us, we've got a big treat in store for us on Saturday night on The Zone. We've got the future Hall of Famer from Nicaragua, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, taking on the WBC flyweight champion of the world, Julio Cesar Martinez in San Diego, California. It's one of these cases where the replacement fight is almost better than the original. Gonzalez was scheduled to meet his arch rival Juan Francisco Estrada in a rubber match. It would have been a third encounter. Estrada got injured, and in true small fighter form, he took on the toughest available challenge, and that's Julio Cesar Martinez. Now, this could be a changing of a guards type of fight, like many believe it will be. It could be that Julio Cesar Martinez finally forces Roman Gonzalez after a long career to exit the stage as an elite level fighter, or Chocolatito Gonzalez could have one great one left in him. Which will it be? Now, Roman Gonzalez has got an incredible record of 50 fights, 3 losses, 41 knockouts. And he is a very difficult man to beat, even at the age of 34, which is closer to the end than the beginning, especially for smaller weight fighters. Not a big deal if you're heavyweight when you're only just getting started. But suffice to say that he is a 4-weight world champion, from strawweight all the way to superfly or junior bantamweight, whatever you call the 115-pound division. And he's beaten a who's who of the big names among the smaller men. Now, he had a nice run, and he came to American prominence in the HBO Superfly series, where he won his 4th world title in his 4th weight division. And unfortunately, it wasn't to last too long for him, because he was just on top of a pound for pound list, and then he lost a very close, somewhat controversial decision to the Thai tank Srisaket Sorungvisai. And many thought he did enough to win that, but then in the rematch he got knocked stone cold with one punch by Sorungvisai, and everybody thought that would be the end of Chocolatito. But he made a comeback of note, culminating in winning another world title, the WBA junior bantamweight title, by stopping England's Khalid Yafai. Now, in his fight with Juan Francisco Estrada, his last fight, he dropped a very close decision, and many felt he did enough to win that fight. Nevertheless, it didn't go his way, it went Estrada's way, and here we are. Now, Roman Gonzalez is a fighter that's exciting. He can fight off a back foot a little bit, but as rounds go by, he likes to go forward. There's a lot of shoulder rolls, a lot of head movement. Shoulder rolls is sort of a rolling bob and weave motion, not the Mayweather kind. He goes to the head, he goes to the body, and he's an excellent combination puncher. He gives you awkward angles, and he doesn't get hit a lot. Now, what are the drawbacks on Chocolatito at this stage? Well, he's getting older, and as older fighters often do, he gets hit more often than he used to. And in the junior bantamweight division, he's a little bit on the small side for the division. That, I don't think, is going to be a factor Saturday night in San Diego, because his opponent, Julio Cesar Martinez, is coming up from flyweight to the junior bantamweights. They're about the same height, they've got the same reach. So I don't think he'll have a big size disadvantage coming out this way. But with Julio Cesar Martinez, he is not, I would say, a tougher opponent or a more difficult opponent than Juan Francisco Estrada. I think Estrada's got a lot more layers to his game. He's a pound for pounder after all. But he might well be a much more dangerous opponent than Estrada. And the reason why I say that, Martinez is a steady pressure fighter in a typical Mexican way, an awkward pressure fighter, because he switch hits. He likes to do that Mike Tyson style, almost step over punch and then back to his orthodox stance. So he's an awkward pressure fighter. But he is also a very dangerous puncher. He's 18-1, I think something like 14 knockouts, if I remember correctly. And he can really put the hurt on you. He came to prominence when he basically knocked out Charlie Edwards, a brother of Sonny Edwards, with a body shot, but he landed one while Edwards was down, and quite rightly he was disqualified. He picked up a vacant title by destroying Christopher Gonzalez. He has made 4 defenses since. His last fight against McWilliams Arroyo, both scored a knockdown, and then because of a cut from from a headbutt. The fight couldn't continue and it was declared a no contest after a couple of rounds. But I think it showed what is good and bad about Martinez. The guy can crack. He is a body snatcher. Respect to Mike McCallum, whose nickname that used to be. But he can really swat to the body. He really digs into the body, and he's got power in both hands. And that is a big danger. He's a dangerous opponent for Chocolatito at this stage of his career. Now, I won't be surprised at all if Julio Cesar Martinez gets Chocolatito out of there and knocks him out and really ups his stock. But I'm not so sure if it is going to go that way. Now, what I would say if I was Julio Cesar Martinez, Chocolatito Gonzalez, he is sometimes a slow starter. He takes a few rounds to get into it. You know, he works his way in through the first 3 rounds and then he starts really putting his foot on the gas. And if I'm Martinez, I jump on Gonzalez early and try and get him out of there. Because I think that's the vulnerable spot that Chocolatito Gonzalez has. Now, Julio Cesar Martinez, he doesn't like a lot of movement. He struggles a bit with stick and move boxes, I suspect, for the unknown Welshman Jay Harris, and Harris gave him a lot of trouble. So that is a tactic that Chocolatito Gonzalez can employ, but he isn't a stick and mover really. He can move a little bit, and I don't think he may not have the legs to stick and move for 12 rounds. So what I would do if I was Gonzalez, I'd be very careful early on, and I would move, but in terms of stepping around Estrada and giving him a lot of angles, keeping him off balance, not allowing him to set for his punches, and capitalize on the counter punching opportunities that Martinez is sure to present. He's one of those fighters to me where his defense is his offense, his power and the big pressure that you have in front of you of having Julio Cesar Martinez come at you and from awkward angles that prevent you from getting your own offense started. But Chocolatito has seen it all at this stage. He should just remain calm, keep changing the angles, not stand still in front of Martinez, protect his body. And I think he can do that quite well. He's a guy who's got almost a peekaboo of his hands. He's got his elbows tucked in, and he'll really need to do that for those body shots and keep on changing the levels and the angles on Martinez and just outwork him. Now, what is going to happen on Saturday night? The boxing will seems to be split sort of down the middle. I think slightly favoring Julio Cesar Martinez because he's this dangerous puncher and he's a younger man. Maybe it's sentiment. I'm just not sure if skill-wise Julio Cesar Martinez is on the level of Juan Francisco Estrada. But perhaps he doesn't need to be because he's got that equalizer in both hands, especially there to the liver. And that might be enough to get him through. But my hunch is that it's not going to be quite enough against Chocolatito Estrada. I suspect that Martinez will be very dangerous early on. But my feeling is that Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez is going to survive the worst of what Martinez can offer. And he's going to just outwork him slightly and capitalize on a few counters and mistakes that Martinez is sure to make and perhaps score a flash knockdown. Martinez might also score a knockdown of Chocolatito, but I can more see Martinez rushing in, getting clipped and taking a knee and getting up quickly. And I think that coupled with Gonzalez's higher work rate, the more variation in his punches, will trump Julio Cesar Martinez's youth and power. So I'm going with Chocolatito Gonzalez to win a close decision. And let's hope there's no controversy and let's hope he gets a fair shake. We have to say that these days in boxing. So I'm going for Roman Gonzalez on a close decision. But what do I know? I was wrong with Amir Khan against Kell Brook, and I was wrong badly the other night of Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall. Catterall did way better than I thought he could. But that's why we keep watching boxing and all. I don't think anybody really gave Catterall much of a chance. But being that as it may, I'm still going to ride with my man Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Win or lose, he's going straight to the Hall of Fame. I'm hoping he's pulling it off, and I think he will pull it off. But it won't surprise me at all if Julio Cesar Martinez scores a breakout win. But that's it from me. If you like this channel, please give it a like and a subscribe. So I'll see you all in spirit, at least watching on the Zone on Saturday. Until we see each other again, keep those gloves up.